Hey everybody, it's Jenny from the YMCA of Eastern Ontario. I'm here today to bring you another variation of our gentle total body class. So for today's class, we're going to be using some dumbbells. If you don't have dumbbells at home, feel free to grab a couple of cans from the cupboard or some water bottles, just making sure that they're evenly weighted, as we will be using 2 of them at some points of our workout. For the second half of the workout, we'll also be coming down to the floor. So if you do have a mat, you may want to use one of those, or a soft floor, maybe using a towel beneath the knees as we need to. If you're not comfortable coming down to the floor, feel free to just do the first portion of the workout. Skip ahead and join us in the stretch. Okay, so if you're ready, we're going to get started with a nice, easy warm-up. So just starting with a nice little march on the spot, we're going to just warm up some of the joints, get our body ready to start lifting some weights. Good. 4, 3, 2. We're going to tap the toes forward. We're reaching the arms nice and long. So we're reaching that one arm back, one arm forward, coming to about shoulder height as we start to warm up our shoulders as well as our ankles, really pointing the toes. Good. For 4, 3, 2. Now we're going to take it heel digs, heel down, toes up. So we're going to pull the toes towards you as we continue to warm up the ankles. We're going to pull those elbows back, opening up through our chest and front body. Good. 4, 3, 2. We're going to take it to side taps, jack arms. So we're going to reach up, up. Good. You can do this single arm, or if you're having any shoulder issues, you can always come up to that shoulder height and stay here. But if you're able to reach that overhead position, we're really going to warm up those shoulders now. Good. 4 more. 4, 3, 2. Let's take it to a hamstring curl. Heel up. Again, elbows back, opening up the chest. Start to bring that squeeze through the back of the upper arms. So we're squeezing those shoulder blades back towards the spine as we squeeze that heel up towards your bottom, warming up our hamstrings. 4, 3, 2, and we're going to take it to high knee twist. So you're going to come up and up. So if you can, we're going to bring that elbow towards the opposite knee. Don't worry, they don't have to touch. Just intending that movement. So we get a little twist through our torso, warming up the spine, warming up our hip flexors. Good. Little stretch through the glutes. 3, 2. We're going to come to a demi squat or a half squat. So plant the feet, send those hips back and down. So like you're going to go sit into a chair, hips are coming back and down. Our knees are staying behind the toes, keeping that chest lifted, thinking about shoulder over that heel to midfoot. 3, 2, and 1. We're going to go tap back. So you're going to tap back, alternating legs. So it's a little weight shift coming to the middle of your loaded feet. If you would like to here, you can take this into a demi lunge. So we're setting up some movement patterns that we're going to be using later on in the workout. So of course, squats are going to happen, lunges are going to happen. We're going to have some overhead presses, things like that. So we want to make sure that body's ready. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Hold it here. We're just going to do a couple little hip circles to either side. 2, and 1. Switch directions. Hip circle other side. This is going to get our hips ready for our last warm-up move. So taking those feet out wide, you're going to reach down towards the opposite ankle. Reach down, nice and slow here. Take your time. It's a hinge position, so we're hinging at the hips, bringing that chest down forward, and you don't have to touch all the way to the ankle. Maybe you touch to the knee. Maybe you touch to the shin. Whatever works for you. Good. 1 more each side. Make sure you're breathing. Last one here. Good. And release. Okay. As always, if you have water and you want to take a drink, you can do so now. Do so anytime that you need to. And we're gonna grab those weights. So we're gonna start with our first set of exercises. We're gonna start with those weights just down by the side, and we're going to do some squats. We're gonna do sets of 8 for each of these. So we're gonna do 8 squats. Ready? 3, 2, 1, let's go. So you're gonna take it down and up, down and up. Good. Again, just sitting those hips back and down like you're about to sit into a chair. Those weights are just down by the side or wherever is comfortable for you. 3 more. 3, 2, last one. Good. Take a moment, relax the legs. We're going to come into a press. So as promised, we're going to do shoulder presses overhead, alternating arms to start. 3, 2, and let's go. Press overhead and down. Press overhead and down. Now, again, if shoulder or going overhead is not for you, what you can do is you can come to a side arm lift. It's still going to hit the same muscle group, just going to be a little bit easier for your shoulder if you need that variation. 4 more each side. Good. Make sure we have a little bend in the knees so that we're protecting the low back. Glutes are engaged. 2 more each side. Good. Last one here. Awesome. And release. Roll those shoulders back and down. We're going to do a second set of our squats. Ready? 3, 2, let's go. Take it down and up. Remember, we're just doing 8. So you may be able to lift a little bit heavier here than you're used to. 4, 3, core is engaged. 2, last one. Good. Now bring those arms up to the shoulders one more time here, and then we're gonna put those 2 moves together. So we're gonna work with some combinations today. Ready? Alternating presses. Here we go. Up and down. Up and down. Good. We're pressing overhead, so just straight up, straight down. Good. We're breathing. Core is engaged. Good. 4 more each side. 4, 3, and if you need to go a little bit lighter on the shoulder press, you can, or just do it without the weights and just do body weight movement. Last one each side. Good, and release. We're going to take a moment here just to relax the shoulders, and we're going to put those 2 together. So the great thing about putting those 2 together is that when we're coming up from our squat, we're going to power up into those overhead presses. So we will be doing both arms, and what it looks like is you're going to squat, press, lower down nice and slow. So we're going to be working more on the eccentric movement or that reverse movement, okay? So we're going to be doing both arms. Feel free to go to singles if you need to. Ready? 3, 2, and let's go. Squat, power up, take it down nice and slow. Squat, push up, down nice and slow. So we're going to be using a little bit of momentum from those legs. Good. 4 more. Breathe. Good. Last 2 here. You got it. Last 1. Here we go. Press and down. Awesome. Good job. Roll those shoulders out and down. We're going to take it to a single arm. So we're going to put 1 weight down, making sure that you're placing that weight out of the way so that it's not a tripping hazard or a safety issue. Good. So from here, we're going to come into a lunge to start with. So this one, we're going to start with 1 set on each leg, 1 set on each arm, and then move into that combination pattern. So I'm going to turn to the side just so you can see where my positioning is. I'm taking a nice big step for my lunge. My body is going to stay right in the middle. So what we're going to do is we're going to bend our front knee, bend our back knee, both at the same time, lower down and come up. So we're not moving forward or backwards. And we want to make sure that we have a big enough step that when we come down, the knee is not tracking over the toe. So just watch for those cues and set up. Ready? 3, 2, and go. So we're going to come down and up, down and up. 3, good job. 4. So just 4 more here. 3, 2, and 1. Good. Now from here, you may want to walk the back foot in just a tiny bit, but we're going to keep our front knee a little bit bent. Using that hand on the front as support, we're going to come into a bent over position here. So we're going to do a single arm row. Ready? When you're ready, here we go. We're going to lift the elbow, lower down. Lift and lower. I want you to think about pulling that shoulder blade in towards the spine. So we're really getting a squeeze back through the back. 3, 2, and 1. Good job. So we're going to switch to the other side. So I'm just going to pivot here so you can see it from the side again for that setup. Nice big step. Same thing as we did on that first round. 3, 2, and let's go. Bend the knees and up. Feel free to adjust once you're in your position to find that lunge that is the most comfortable for you. Good. 4 more. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Taking that front hand, placing it on your thigh for support. That lean forward, neutral spine. Ready? Here we go. Let's lift that elbow up and down. Up and down. Really squeeze through the shoulder blade. Pull it towards your spine. 4 more. 4, keeping that gaze just towards the floor. So we have a neutral neck. We're not arching or tucking the chin. Last one. Good job. Okay, so now we're going to put those two together. So what we're going to do is coming back to our first side. It's going to be a lunge, hinge forward, row, and then back to a lunge. Okay? Feel free, if you would like to separate them still, do 8 lunges while I'm doing the combos, and then do the 8 rows as well. Okay? So finding your balance, getting yourself set up. Ready? 3, 2, and let's go. Lunge, hinge forward, row, and then back up. Lunge, hinge forward, core engaged, protecting that back. Good. Down, hinge, row, and back up. Lunge, hinge, row. And if it takes you a little bit longer, that's okay. Take your time. We're halfway. Hinge, row. Good. 3 more. Lunge, hinge, row. Good. Last 2 here, and then we're going to take that to the other side. Good. This one gets you thinking a little bit, which is always good as well. We can train our brain at the same time. Good. And release. So pivoting around to the other side or switching your feet. Again, I'm pivoting just so you can see the positioning from the side so that you know you're set up. Ready? 3, 2, and let's go. Lunge, hinge, row, and stand up. Lunge, hinge, row, stand up. Good. So I like to keep my gaze at the floor, just a couple feet ahead of me. I find that it's a little bit easier to balance that way by keeping that focused point with my eyes. Good. 2 more. Down, up, hinge, row. Good. Last one. Good. And release. Awesome job. Shake it out. We're going to come into our next set of exercises. So you're going to grab your weight, second weight, so that we have 2 weights here. We're going to be doing a plie squat and an upright row. So plie squat, we're bringing our feet out to about a 45-degree angle. When we sink down, our knees are going to track out over the toes. So we want to make sure that our knees aren't sort of buckling in, putting pressure on that inside of the knee. Knees are coming out over the toes. We're grounded and up. Okay, so we're going to think about squeezing our glutes as we come to lifting. You can either have your hands in front of you or hands by the hips, hands by the shoulders, whatever works for you. Okay, ready? 3, 2, let's go. You're going to come down and up. So again, slow and controlled here. Feel free to adjust your positioning. If you find your knees are tracking out over the toes or further than the toes, make your step a little bit wider. 4, chest is tall. We're getting a little inner thigh as well. 2, last one here, guys. Awesome. Just relax the feet. You can walk them in a little bit if you'd like to here. We're going to do an upright row, and we're going to start with those palms facing the body. We're going to draw the arms up to about shoulder chest height and then back down. Okay, ready? Here we go. 3, 2, and let's go. We're going to lift and lower. Lift and lower. Good. So the elbows lead the movement here. We're lifting to shoulder height, no higher. And your wrist should always be below the elbows. 3, 2, core engaged. Last one. Good. And release. Roll those shoulders back and down. Coming back into that second set of plie squats. This time I'm just going to demo the hands out front. 3, 2, and let's go. Take it down and up. Down and up. So if you have weights that have very large heads on them, this position right here might be very awkward. So if that's the case, then coming back to the hands on the hips. 3, 2, last one. Good. Again, walk it in, just relax the feet, coming into upright row in 3, 2, and let's go. Lift up and down. Up and down. 3, good job. We're setting those shoulders back and down at the top of the movement. 3, 2, and 1. Good job. Roll those shoulders back. Last time, coming into that plie position, we're going to put those two together into our combination move. So this time, if you're able to have those hands out front, I'll show you a couple with the transition from here as well. So if we're able, hands to the front, ready, 3, 2, and let's go. Plie, upright row. Plie, upright row. So if you need to, you can come with the hands to the side, and it's just a little bit less fluid of a movement, but still super effective. It may take you a little bit longer to do your reps if you have to transition, but that's okay. Take your time. Last one. Good. And release. Release one weight down. Good. So this one here, we're going to do 2 sets on each side, wood chops. So I really want you to pay attention to my feet here. When we start our wood chop, you're twisting down to one side, so we're coming into a bent knee loaded on that one side. You'll notice that I've lifted my heel on this side. So this is going to be a lot of lifting of the toe so that we can pivot and not put any pressure and torque on our knees, okay? So again, we load here. We're gonna come up and over. As we do that, as my hip turns, my heel lifts, my toe turns so that the knee can follow as well. Okay, so getting ready. 3, 2, let's go. So you're gonna load, extend, 2. So thinking about a nice long body, extending those arms up nice and long. Good, halfway this side. 4, 3, 2, last one here, and then we're going to switch sides. So just take a moment, settle back, getting ready to take that over to the other side, doing a couple practice ones if you need to. 3, 2, and let's go. Come down, extend, down, extend. 3, nice. 4, good. Working within your own range of motion. 3 more. 2, last one on this side. Good, release again. So relax the shoulders, come back to center, get yourself reset. We're gonna take that back to our first side. So just making sure that you're listening to your body. If any of these exercises hurt, please stop. If there is a little bit of muscle fatigue, that's okay, but we shouldn't have any sharp pains, okay? So coming back to that second set, ready? Here we go. Just took that moment to catch our breath, to get ourselves ready again, to go for round 2. 3. Halfway. Remember, if you can't go overhead with the arms, just come to chest level and we'll still get really great benefits. Last one here. Good. Release, relax. Getting ready for that last set on our second side. Ready? 3, 2, and let's go. Down, extend. Down and extend. Pivoting through the feet, protecting those knees. Good. Halfway. 4 more. 3, 2, last one. Good job. Okay, you can place that weight again to the side. You may want those weights as we transition down to the floor. You may want them for those exercises as well. So have them nearby, but not necessary. Grabbing your mat if you have one, if you're using one. We're coming down to the floor. So we're going to start on our backs. I'm going to just bring my weights here right to the side so that they're nice and close for my workout. So coming onto your back, we're going to start with a glute bridge. So I'm going to show you the first round. We're just doing 2 rounds of each and then doing our combo move. So the first round, I'm going to show you without weight for the glute bridge. So you can have the hands to the side, feet in close to the bottom. Ready? We're going to lift the hips towards the ceiling. 3, 2, and let's go. Lift up and down. Up and down. Again, we're just doing 8 of these. So take your time with it. If you need to go a little slower, you can. Try not to go any faster because we do want to have that time under tension where we're using those muscles a little bit longer. 2 more. 2. Last one. Good. And release. For the second exercise, if you can, grabbing a single weight. You can also do this with double weights. I'm holding the heads of the weight and doing a skull crusher. Okay, so I'm going to show you the second round how to do this with 2 weights as well, or an option. Ready? 3, 2, and let's go. You're going to bend the elbows, bring the weight towards the forehead, and press back up. Down and up. So really taking your time here. We're bending at the elbows. Good. 4 more. If you're not comfortable coming to the forehead, check out this round 2, and that'll give you an option as well that doesn't come right over your forehead. Last one. Good. And release. Now, second round, I'm going to show you how to increase that by placing a weight on the hip. So just placing the weights right on your hip bones or just above the pelvis, and we're going to lift the hips just like we did in the first one. Ready? 3, 2, and let's go. We're going to lift and lower. Lift and lower. You can either hold on to the head of the weight or place your hands here as a little bumper so the weight doesn't come rolling towards you as you lift the hips. 3, squeeze the glutes. 2, and 1. Good, and release. Now, round 2, as promised, I'm going to show you another variation. So the first variation was with double dumbbells, which of course is going to make this harder unless you've gone lighter in your dumbbells. So just regular skull crushers, but this time the heads of the weights are going to come to either side of the head and then press back up. Okay, ready? 3, 2, let's go. You're going to come down and up, down and up. If this movement still makes you nervous because you're coming right by the head, another option would be to do a narrow press. We're still going to work the triceps a little bit. Good. So either variation. Last one. Good. And release it down. Excellent. So I'm going to continue with the double weights because I feel like I can use it for the challenge, but feel free to come back to a single weight or whatever you would like to do. We're going to come back into that glute bridge. So with double weights, placing both of them on the hips. Ready? 3, 2, let's go. So we're gonna lift. Then from here, we're going to go into a skull crusher. Good. So you're gonna go, press up, bring the arms up, skull crusher, good, and down. Up, skull crusher, good. You can also make this an easier transition by just holding the hands up off the chest, just doing the skull crusher with the weight, and doing the glute bridge without the weight. Good. Keeping those arms up, elbows are just above the shoulders, and then we're just bending at the elbows. Really getting those triceps. Those are our last 2. Breathing. Good. Last one. Up. Good. And release. Awesome. Allow those weights to come out of the way. And then we're going to come into our last set of exercises. So with our last set of exercises, we're going to be doing a crunch, which again, I will show you an option to add a weight to that for the second round. So first round, we're just going to be doing body weight. Elbows come out to the side, knees are bent. And all we're going to do is we're just going to lift the shoulders and the head off of the ground and lower down. So we're not tucking our chin in towards the chest. Our gaze is going to stay towards the ceiling, and our hands are just here to support the neck. So we're not pulling with the arms, we're lifting with the abs, lifting the shoulders up off of the ground. Ready? 3, 2, let's go. We're going to lift and lower. Lift, have a little hold, a little pause at the top. Good. 4. We've got 4 to go. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Release all the way down. Grabbing your weight. You can do this one as well without a weight. Again, holding the heads of the weights. We're going to do an overhead extension. This is going to work in through our lats a little bit. Ready? 3, 2, let's go. So we're going to lift overhead and come back up to the chest. Extend overhead and come back up to the chest level. Extend overhead. Back to chest level, extend overhead, and back. So we've got a neutral spine here. So what we don't want to happen is to overarch through our lower back. It should stay in the same position as it does naturally when you're laying down. Good. One more. Good. And release. So just a form cue on that, you should be able to get a couple fingers kind of underneath the back so that there's that natural curvature to the spine. You should be able to just kind of just press the fingertips underneath. You shouldn't be able to press your whole hand or whole arm underneath. So we shouldn't be arching, making sure that we're not tilting through the pelvis, but we also don't want to round forward with the pelvis. We just want that natural spine. Okay, so round 2, as promised, giving you a weight option here with the crunch. So if you want the weight, we're going to hold it overhead, ready, and we're going to crunch up and down. Press and down. So obviously with this one, if you're using the weight, you're no longer using your arms by your head. 3, pressing that weight towards the ceiling. Last one, good. Release down. Really easy to transition into that overhead reach. Ready? 3, 2, and let's go. Overhead and back. Overhead and back. 3 and 4. Good. We are halfway. I like to breathe in as I come overhead. Exhale as I come back. Inhale and exhale. Last 2. Good. Last one. All right, we're heading into our last combo. So again, you can do this with the weight. You can do this without the weight, whichever works for you. Ready? 3, 2, and let's go. Press up, come down, overhead extension. down, overhead, pull back. Press towards the ceiling, overhead extension, press and down. And listen to your shoulders on that overhead extension. Maybe your extension is only a small movement. That's okay. Just do what's comfortable for you. We don't want to put ourselves into a place of injury. Last one. Good. And release. Excellent. Place that weight over to the side, out of the way. We're going to do a quick stretch here. So I'd like you to start by coming over into a tabletop position, bringing your knees a little bit wider than your hips, toes together, and sink back into a child's pose. You can extend the arms nice and long here, pressing the chest down, forehead down towards the mat. If that's not comfortable for you, you can always tuck your arms here and allow your head to rest on your forearms. Again, do what feels best for you today. And maybe it feels great today and it doesn't feel great the next time you do this workout. Just do what feels good for you today. Good, and then gently coming up. We're gonna work our way to standing, so however you need to come up. Do a little bit of stretching in a standing position. Good. So we're gonna start with a calf stretch. Stepping one foot slightly back, we're gonna drop that heel down towards the floor. We're gonna take our hands now together, clasp them together, and then round forward through the upper back. Tuck your chin here slightly towards the chest. We'll get a stretch through the upper back as well as our calf. Good, release. We're gonna switch sides. So other foot now comes back. Drop that heel down first, find your calf stretch. Taking our hands, placing them on the hips. I want you to bring your elbows back, shoulders back, bringing that gaze slightly upwards. Now bringing that stretch into the chest, front of the shoulders, front of the body. Good, and release. We're gonna bring our feet fairly close together here. We're gonna take one hand, you're gonna slide it down the thigh. So we're moving down the side of the body, opening up through the side, reaching our arm overhead. When you're ready, we're gonna get a nice stretch down through the lats, the obliques, maybe down in through the hip if you're feeling a little tight. Keeping that chest open, so try not to round forward with the movement, trying to stay stacked. Good, and release other side. So again, hand just slides down the side of the body, finding that little side bend, and then adding the reach overhead if it's comfortable. You can always keep that hand down by the hip. Good, and release. Just bring those feet to a nice, easy stance. We're gonna take a couple deep breaths together. We're gonna inhale, reach the arms up. Exhale, release. One more time, nice big inhale. And exhale all the way down. Excellent work today, everybody. Please feel free to take a longer stretch if there's definitely things that we didn't stretch. So if you feel like you need a little bit of an extra stretch, please take the time to do so. It's not gonna hurt you. And I will see you very soon. I hope you enjoyed today's workout. Have a great day. Bye.